Hello everyone, this is my assignment, session 5 assignment video. I always start off with our learning targets. There are 4 of them this session. One is to be able to accurately define key vocabulary words associated with a standardized testing process. And that includes norm referenced, criterion referenced, etc., etc. To accurately describe the difference between, as I mentioned, a norm reference and a criterion reference test. Many of you know that already, so that one you can scratch off if you've already known it. To be able to intelligently, quote unquote, discuss the intricacies of creating a large-scale standardized test. This is one of the major objectives of this session, and one that many students walk away thinking, wow, I never knew that. So it's usually an eye-opener for many of you. And to summarize the prospective Common Core assessments funded by the federal government, those are in my presentation. You won't find those in the readings, but I do talk about them. They're still around. A lot of districts are not, or a lot of states are not using them because the Common Core has got such a bad name. And I think unjustly so. But the whole goal behind creating a Common Core standards was that throughout the United States, all kids would be getting the same standards and would be getting the same assessments. In the past, every state could do whatever they want, and it showed in the NAEP results. The National Assessment of Educational Progress is a test done by an organization funded by the government, our federal government, and showed such a disparity in the achievement of different states in the country. So it was really unfair to say some kid from Alabama or Mississippi who was scoring basic on their exams, but was scoring well below proficiency on the NAEP. So that was the whole reason for creating the Common Core, for creating common assessments, so that states could see how they were doing there, and we'll talk more about that. In the next several sessions, we'll be exploring the intricacies of creating large-scale tests, along with the topics of validity, reliability, and fairness or absence of bias. That's what I call the 3 legs of the test creation triangle. So you'll understand these concepts, and you'll be able to at least intelligently talk about those, instead of saying, this is biased against kids from the ghetto, and without even knowing what bias is or how bias is checked in a large-scale test. Those are things to look forward to. I had a colleague of mine who was a high school social studies teacher complain on social media that the snow days were affecting the validity of the Regents exam. Maybe someone can tell me what's wrong with that statement in the coming weeks. All right, because we do have a few snow days and probably another one coming. All right, your assignments for the next 2 sessions, we have a regular discussion board. Okay, so we will be using the regular discussion board rubric, not the modified one. So make sure you know that. If you want an A+ on timeliness, you have to post within the first 4 days. That's an A+. You have a week to post to get an A. So there should not be a lot of angst about that, or a lot of anger, like, I can't get on. I'm still hearing that. You know, people get angry. Yeah, it closes in 2 weeks, that's when I post, that's when it's supposed to be due. No, a discussion is to get you on and discuss. If you just post on the last day, that is not a discussion. So those of you who are angry about that, get over it. You know, because a discussion is a discussion, not you posting on the last day in about a 30-minute time period and saying, oh boy, that's when it was due. So I've got that off my chest. Sorry for all you people that and most of you, 90% of you who are posting on time and regularly. You should be able to connect to my presentation, Chapter 6 in Cohen and Spencer, which I've made available, and Chapter 13 in Popham, which is your textbook, which you should have rented or bought by now, as well as the many resources in Session 4, and there's even some in Session 5, course materials and handouts. There's even a short article written by yours truly, so see if you can find that and get brownie points for mentioning it. Remember, you start losing points if your initial post is later than 7 days. That's points away from an A. I don't expect you just to list the summary of the readings. Use the materials to support an opinion. So I don't want you to say, Toke says this, and Kamara says this, and the article on, I forget who wrote that, Chingos, I think. Chingo said this about the cost of these assessments. So that's not what I'm looking for. I want you to have a discussion, and in your initial post, I want you to give opinions, make connections, not just summarize. All right. This discussion board will end on, the first 4 days will end on March 8th, so that's Thursday, if you're looking for an A+. We will be looking at cost. Many of you will rail about that because one of the articles says how much it costs per question. And you'll go, are you kidding me? We could buy 1 million computers for that. But you need to read the article on the cost before you start ranting about it. And there's also articles in course materials or ancillary materials about becoming a psychometrician. What's that, you may say? Well, you'll find out. Inquiring minds will find out. There's much out there on the web to support whatever your opinion is. And a good place to start is procon.org. I have that link here in the teaching memo, and it's an excellent site to get opinions on both sides of the large-scale standardized testing equation. You'll see the top pro and con arguments, and there's a lot of them. And as I'm scrolling down, you'll see 12, 13, and on and on and on. So if you're looking for both sides of the issues, and that's what I'm looking for as a goal of this discussion board, is that you will be able to see both sides of the issues. A test does not make you do mindless test prep. Okay, it's the people and how they use these tests that force teachers to do this kind of stuff. So remember, you have to upload your initial post. That's in Session 5, course materials, and I think I have that right here. There it is. Scroll down to upload your initial post here. You have to upload it. Don't cut and paste it, please. Upload it as a Word document or a PDF file. So this session, you do have to upload your initial post. There is also a multiple choice quiz, just a plain old multiple choice quiz. No fill in the blanks this time, so you won't have to struggle with that. There is a hard copy in this session's course materials, which you should download and take first, as usual. After taking the hard copy, I would suggest using the quiz discussion board. Many of you did that this time because this test wasn't easy. The special ed test was not easy, and I haven't given it in any class before. So it's interesting to see how there are a lot of hundreds for all the tests I've posted before in previous classes, and this first one people are struggling with. Interesting. Remember, no answer giving in the quiz discussion board. This is a formative tool where you can enhance your understanding by discussing the questions rather than giving the answers. I would then take the quiz online the first time, then go back to the quiz discussion board and talk about the ones you got wrong. Unfortunately, most of you will immediately take the quiz twice. It's called not being able to delay immediate gratification. So I call that a missed opportunity. Finally, keep going on your vocabulary in your own words. There are several terms in the session's materials: norm and criterion reference test, correlation coefficient, standard error of measurement, or SEM, and standard deviation. You may know those definitions already. If you do this as the course moves along, you won't be stressed out when it's due on the last day of the course. The same goes for your final baseline survey. I believe large-scale standardized tests is one of the baseline survey questions. I look forward to your comments on large-scale tests. Remember, keep an open mind.